The silence is finally broken, and this time it's not a small whisper, it's a full-on shockwave hitting hard. Those quiet walls of that 16-bedroom Montecito mansion, they're not so quiet anymore. For years, Trevor Engelson stayed in the background, almost invisible, like a man who had every reason to speak but chose not to. He knew the story, he lived it, and still nothing. Not a single explosive interview, not a tell-all, not even a hint of drama. That kind of silence doesn't happen by accident. It looked controlled, deliberate, almost strategic. While the world watched a global figure rise, evolve, and dominate headlines, Trevor stepped away and built something solid for himself. A strong career, a new marriage, a growing family. He moved forward while the spotlight stayed somewhere else. But now it's 2026, and that long silence, it's starting to crack. And here's where things get intense, because the moment someone like that decides to speak, people listen differently. This isn't a random commentator or a distant observer. This is someone who was there before everything changed. Before the fame, before the global attention, before the carefully shaped public image. That alone makes this situation feel different. Reports are now suggesting that Trevor may be considering telling his side of the story and not in a vague, indirect way. We're talking about a potential full narrative, something detailed, something structured, something that could shift how people see the entire timeline. And if that happens, it won't just be another headline, it could completely reshape the conversation. To understand why this matters, you have to go back to how it all started and, more importantly, how it ended. Because the ending wasn't emotional, it wasn't dramatic in a public way, it was quiet, sharp, and unexpectedly cold. Imagine being in a long-term relationship, years invested, shared life, shared plans, and then one day, instead of a conversation, you receive a package. Inside, legal documents, personal items, closure delivered without a single word. No final meeting, no explanation, no moment to process it face to face. That kind of ending leaves questions, and those questions don't just disappear with time. For years, Trevor didn't answer those questions publicly. He didn't chase attention, didn't correct narratives, didn't insert himself into the global spotlight that followed. And that silence actually built something powerful, credibility. Because in a world where everyone speaks quickly, the one who waits often carries more weight when they finally do speak. Now fast forward to 2026 and the timing feels important. Because it's not just about the past anymore, it's about how that past connects to everything happening right now. There's a growing conversation about how certain narratives were built, how stories were shaped, and what may have been left out along the way. Some people believe everything unfolded naturally, step by step, opportunity meeting timing. Others believe there was more intention behind it, a clearer direction, a bigger vision, something mapped out long before it became public. And while those perspectives differ, they all point to one thing. People are questioning the timeline more than ever. The relationship that later captured global attention was presented as spontaneous, unexpected, almost cinematic. A chance meeting, a connection that grew quickly, a modern love story unfolding in real time. But in 2026, audiences are more skeptical, more analytical, and more curious about what happens behind the scenes. That doesn't mean rewriting history, it means examining it more closely, looking at patterns, decisions, timing, and how certain opportunities aligned at very specific moments. That kind of analysis doesn't prove intent, but it definitely raises eyebrows. At the same time, the reality of life after that global spotlight has proven more complicated than expected. Royal status comes with visibility, influence, and recognition, but it also comes with structure, limits, and expectations, and adjusting to that balance hasn't been simple. That's where the business side comes in, because building an independent brand after stepping away from that system is a challenge on its own. Recent ventures have shown just how difficult that transition can be. Product launches, branding decisions, public reactions, it's all under a microscope. Some projects have been met with excitement, others with criticism. There have been discussions about pricing, originality, and overall direction. A rebrand attempt brought even more attention, with comparisons and debates spreading quickly online. In today's digital world, even small details can turn into major talking points overnight. And while public reactions are one thing, what happens behind the scenes is often where the real pressure builds. Reports over time have suggested high expectations, fast-paced decision-making, and an environment that not everyone finds easy to navigate. Staff changes, internal shifts, and evolving strategies have all added to the complexity. At the same time, the wider support system seems to have changed too. Early on, there was visible backing from major public figures. strong connections, and a sense of alignment within certain circles. But recently, that support has appeared quieter, less visible, less vocal. That shift doesn't always mean conflict. It can also mean distance, changing priorities, or simply moving on. But in a world where visibility matters, silence can sometimes say just as much as words. Meanwhile, attention has also turned toward the personal dynamic at the center of it all. Public appearances, separate engagements, different focuses. These details haven't gone unnoticed. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the perception of distance has grown stronger over time. And perception matters because once the public starts noticing patterns, the narrative begins to evolve on its own. What once looked like a perfectly aligned partnership now feels more complex, more layered, more uncertain. This is where Trevor's potential role becomes even more significant, because if he chooses to share his perspective, it won't just be about revisiting the past. It will connect directly to the present. It will add context, detail, and possibly challenge assumptions that have been accepted for years. And here's something important. There was never a formal agreement preventing him from speaking. That changes everything. Because it means the decision to stay silent wasn't enforced. It was chosen. And choosing to break that silence now, that carries weight. There are already discussions about possible publishing deals, media interest, and major financial offers tied to his story. If even part of that is accurate, it shows just how valuable first-hand insight has become in today's media landscape. Because at the end of the day, people are drawn to one thing above everything else: authenticity. Not perfection, not polished narratives, but real experiences told by the people who actually lived them. And that's why 2026 feels different. This isn't just another cycle of headlines. It's a shift in how the story is being told, who is telling it, and what details are being brought forward. The image that once felt controlled and carefully managed is now facing pressure from multiple directions. Public opinion is changing, questions are getting sharper, and the demand for clarity is stronger than ever. Whether Trevor steps forward fully or not, the impact is already being felt, because the idea of his voice entering the conversation has already changed the tone. It's added tension, curiosity, and a level of unpredictability that wasn't there before. And that unpredictability, that's what keeps everyone watching. Because now the question isn't just what happened, it's what comes next. Will new details come out? Will old narratives be challenged? Will the story shift in a way no one expected? One thing is clear, this situation is far from over. So if you want to stay updated as this story keeps unfolding, make sure you're locked in. Subscribe to Monarchy Cup and turn on notifications, because the next chapter could drop at any moment and you don't want to miss it.